To order, it is 6:05. Welcome everyone. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You can all be seated. You're welcome. I do need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. I just want to remind everyone that these board meetings are business meetings held in public and not public board meetings. The board is governed by Idaho Code, Title 74 and Title 33, Chapter 5, the Idaho Administrative Procedures Act, or IDAPA, and we do follow district policies. Do we have any public input?
Not this evening.
Perfect. Moving on to reports. First, we have the superintendent report, which is actually the interim superintendent report. Any comments, questions, conversations to be had on his report? Thank you for the report.
You're welcome.
We have the financial report. I am curious where the remaining pages of the report are. It's just the front page. Or maybe those are actually in the financial, well, they're not there, but there's usually the pages that.
With all the
I will be happy to reshare. I'm not sure. It's 76 pages long. So.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we only have one.
That might be it too. I know board books sometimes cut stuff off.
Yeah, it does. Is there anything on the one page that we have? Any conversations?
Nope.
Jessica, would you mind coming up to the podium for a second? Just because I didn't want to have to yell at you.
No,
when
you're
seated
fine.
down there. Your comment about the City of Rathdrum providing a memo regarding the status of the John Brown Elementary concrete. What is that about? I mean, I know the concrete has its problems. So what is their letter about with respect to that?
Jessica Grantham, Chief Finance Officer. So as the work on Washington Street has commenced and they pulled back the asphalt, the city approved the plans for that concrete work, and so they're noting that it's definitely not to plan.
Okay.
In some of the instances, the concrete's only 1 inch thick instead of the per plan specs.
Okay.
And so they wrote a memo to the district to just outline their findings since the asphalt's back and they can see kind of all of it along that front side. That was super helpful with us with the surety company, and actually has helped us get a little bit of movement finally on our claim.
Okay.
So we'll have more for that soon.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Thanks, Jess. Thank you.
Any further comments or questions on the financial report?
No.
Okay. Moving on to the facilities report.
I don't have any on that either.
Okay.
Nope.
Anything? Okay. Moving on to the technology report.
Report, lots of reports.
Lots of reports. Love it.
No, but I like all the reports. It was really good. A very clear overview, and I think the public would like it too,
Yeah.
There's a lot of information for them to see what's going on, and just another step towards making the community involved also, so if they're looking for something, I think they're great. I don't have any questions. I'm just happy to see them all though.
Great. The nutrition services report. So it looks like we're going to be at a loss for nutrition services. Okay. Go ahead.
If you might recall during the budget hearing, we have enough fund balance to cover the loss for this year. I anticipate we'll have enough to cover for next year. It's the year after that we'll probably have to transfer some general fund to support the program. We've done a lot to mitigate that this year. They actually wanted to negotiate an increase on our contribution, and we kept it steady. So we are in year 2 of a 5-year contract with that company.
Okay.
So
And the increased meal prices will help
offset.
some of this.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we've worked on their staffing plan to make sure that we're being as efficient as possible.
Okay. We have the transportation report. Congratulations to Becky Craig Johnson, who took 2nd place at the Stateless Rodeo.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
We always seem to do really good at competition.
She's pretty much on it.
Yep.
I think she wins every year in some capacity.
I have no input or anything. It's pretty discreet.
Okay. Federal programs report.
I do want to say, we know that the link in that report is not working.
Right.
That was something that, between the creation and writing of the report and posting it, the state actually took that plan down from their website and they're revising it. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot, they've got a lot going down there, revising a lot of things, because there's some stuff I keep checking for and it's not quite there yet, but yeah, they have a lot of work, that's for sure.
Any further conversation on the federal programs report?
I don't have any.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have the minutes of the previous meeting, minutes of subcommittee meetings to be accepted, HR items, and the bill list. Any comments on? There is, I need to find it because I wasn't able to. So it wasn't on the budget hearing. Oh, I think it was on the executive session. Oh, on the executive session minutes, under D1, you have Trustee Grissom there, but she's not on the minutes. She wasn't under the call to meeting. Did she come late?
No, I
Okay.
mistyped that.
Okay, not a problem. If we can just remove that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for me on the minutes. I hate when I can't make the notes. Anybody else have anything on the minutes?
No.
Okay. Anything on subcommittee minutes? On the HR items, we have the board book memo, resignations and applications. Any questions, comments, concerns to address on any of those items?
No.
And we have the bills list and the breakout. I do have a question. I noticed on the BMO purchases, that was quite high for the month of June. Is it inclusive of the other, like part of May or something?
Yes. Yeah, so you'll notice there's 2 different check dates. 6/11, that is actually the end of April. That was getting paid at that point, and then 6/25 was the May one, the May bill.
So in April, we spent that much money?
It's 2 months together.
months.
So
Okay,
it's 2.
okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. I just haven't seen it that high in a while,
Yeah,
so
no,
I
it's
was
just, it looks
surprised.
artificially high because it's 2 months.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions or comments on the bills list?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On that, I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to action items. Action items, we have the fall sports schedules. Does everybody have the same program for sports?
What do you mean?
For creating these schedules? Is everyone using the same system, or is there different systems at different schools?
I'm sure that there are different systems.
Okay.
Whatever suits the activities director in that system, I'm sure.
Okay. Can I make a recommendation that THS, or Timberlake High and Timberlake Middle, or mostly it's just the high school, very hard to read.
Okay.
Because it's got the football weights in there, and you're trying to find the exact schedule for one sport, and there's multiple things in there, and then it's just reproduced. If it could become just, here's the girls' schedule. It has in the past, so I'm not sure why this year it was the way it was. That's my only question, why it looks so interesting this year and hard to read.
Yep. We can pursue that for sure.
Perfect. Anybody have any questions on any of these sports schedules?
No.
No, are you including the Fieldhouse in it or just the
No.
actual, okay, no.
Okay, and it looks like we didn't receive, let me double check. Yeah, the golf schedule got uploaded for the LHS cross-country schedule.
That's me. There were a lot. I'll do better next time. There were a lot of those.
Okay, so in saying that, that needs to get approved. Because the LHS cross-country, because we don't have that to approve.
Okay.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion on the schedules that are presented.
Move to approve schedules.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the Lakeland Junior Tackle Fieldhouse.
The only question I had was if legal counsel had reviewed the agreement.
Legal counsel proposed both of the agreements. I do have to make a slight change on one of them because they referenced the high school and I didn't catch it. It's at the middle school. So in the initial construction agreement, I just need to make the change for Lakeland Middle School.
Okay.
And then they proposed a long-term lease for that facility instead of going through the facility use process.
Yeah.
Just because it's a standard of practice. So
Yeah.
legal presented both of those to the district for our use.
Okay, all right.
Great.
That was my only question. Which, was that the local, okay, yeah. All right, perfect.
You'll find they're very similar to Coeur d'Alene's.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as they wrote off on it,
Yeah,
they own it.
that was the only qualm I had was that it said Lakeland High School, not the
Yep.
middle school.
Yep, we caught that. Thanks, Ryan. So it'll get corrected in the final version.
Okay. Exciting, how fun.
Have we already done site prep and concrete?
Negative. No, so those had to be adjusted based off our last board.
Okay,
You guys wanted to hold
Right.
off until you got the final plans and we
Right.
provided them. So apologize for the dates being off, but as soon as we get approval, we can start moving forward with some of the
will
other
it
stuff.
still be completed before school begins?
We have, I believe so, yes, with all the scheduling. I've got everything lined out to start.
Okay,
As soon as we get everything approved and we can break ground, we can get permits. We have everything on our end to start the permitting process through the city. So as soon as we
Okay.
get that, we don't have any reason to believe we can't finish yet.
okay, and then is there going to be any obstacles with what we've got going on in the parking lot to getting to the site to actually do work?
No.
Okay,
Tim Hague, Facilities Director. No, we've been working closely with Junior Tackle
okay,
and Gino and Laura Spurway in
okay,
Harrison. So we've got a
And
plan.
Shannon.
And Shannon, yeah. So we've got a pretty good plan of attack, and I don't see any hiccups at all.
perfect.
This actually alleviates a problem for John Brown on their playground because there's a little
Hiding note.
hiding hook that this will eliminate with the placement. So they'll have great line of sight.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
So yeah, Shannon was involved in
Yes.
that.
Okay.
I don't have any other questions. Do you have anything, Dee?
No, I'm good.
Anything? Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll,
Did you have something to
No,
add?
I just wanted to make sure. Never. I'm assuming no approve a motion.
yeah, and I appreciate that you've taken the notion to just write the proposed motion, but could you stop? Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So we'll entertain a motion at this time on the junior tackle site location and contract.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Before I call for it, is this specific language that you think has to be in the motion? Is that why you identified it?
No.
Okay.
Just at a previous meeting, you had asked for language suggestions, and so that's why I had started reading those in there.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
I think it was because of the clarification between the subcontractor contractor thing. That's why I understand now why she put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the supplemental materials, which are specific to the curriculum for the course proposals that are being brought forward. Does anybody have any comments, questions, discussions to be held on the curriculum that's being brought forward? Cannot speak tonight.
No, except that history of rock and roll. I wish there would. There really, I mean, doesn't tell us anything. Like I didn't. It's just like here's the book, and there's actually a newer version. I guess when it popped up when I was looking at it, following the links that were provided. But yeah, I couldn't really see what it. You know, it was really brief.
Okay. We do have the book available at the district office
Okay.
that we'll put on display in the month of August whenever we set out our curriculum, as we do annually. And I believe that we're using that older version because it's something that we already own.
Gotcha, yeah.
And so I just wanted to be specific about that as the addition that we
Yeah, perfect.
have here.
We
Yeah,
already
and I
own
don't,
it, But it was never approved?
Well, and I now understand that for new courses, I don't need to put everything through the supplemental process. And so I
Right.
think that's where the confusion was, is it was not originally included with the course proposal request.
Right, but your statement was that we already had it?
Correct.
But what I'm asking is, was it approved prior, under the curriculum approval, when it was brought in?
I believe it was.
Oh, okay.
I believe it was.
Okay.
But in my understanding from our June meeting, I took
It's okay.
all of those materials and put them through this process. So,
Okay,
yeah, that
Gotcha.
is on me for my interpretation.
no worries. Any questions or comments on the supplemental materials? Beyond the history of rock and roll?
well, I'm really curious the approach and how thorough it's gonna be. That's all. No, I can look at the book, I guess, or I can maybe find something online that'll give me more, input.
Okey-doke. Any questions, Jeff? No. Alright. I'll entertain a motion on the supplemental materials list.
Move to approve.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to course proposals. We have the history of rock and roll, sports marketing, sports nutrition, and veterinary science. These were brought at the last meeting in June, and they were tabled due to curriculum. So, does anyone have any questions, comments, conversations to be had on these course proposals?
No. They look interesting.
Yeah.
They look really good. I don't have any input. I don't have any questions.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to returning classified staff. Was that changed?
That's the one that I called you when we had the addition.
No, I
Sorry.
understand that. I thought there was more. Is it down farther? Oh, it is. It's under discussion items, I guess.
Yeah, there
My
was
bad.
one action and one discussion. that
Gotcha.
were-
Okay. So we have the returning classified staff. Any conversations to be had on this?
Nope.
I'll entertain a motion at this time.
Move to approve the returning classified staff.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the surplus ADSS items.
I acknowledge this is an uncommon situation to be in. I know the situation is described there for you to read. I'm happy to answer any questions about it, of course. We do have a plan that could unfold so that if the board approves this item as surplus, we could have this taken care of, I think, pretty efficiently.
With this, are we, I guess, adopting some like procedures and protocols for how we're going to handle this in the future, so that it's not a, oh no, what do we do?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, our procedures that we'll develop will have to refer to the Idaho Code on declaring something as surplus, and so
Okay.
most of the procedure will be just referring to that process, similar to what we've done this time.
Right.
But we will at least have that playbook documented for the next time it comes around.
Okay. Does anybody have any conversations or questions to be had?
Yeah, it definitely is different. I don't like the idea of it at all. I understand we have the two attorneys weighing in, but we don't have, I mean, if we let go of the firearm, do we have the funds, and is the purchase gonna be enough to replace the firearm? Because that leaves us one. And it's just sort of odd. The thing that caught my attention is when it says retiring the firearm. I'm like, oh, I didn't know firearms retired, but okay. You know, do we, I mean, there's nothing here other than to say we would allow them, but I mean, what's that purchase gonna be? Is that, and what is it exactly? I mean, we haven't identified the firearm itself, what it is. Do you know what it is?
This is not my area of expertise,
Okay.
but I believe that it is a Glock 19 9 millimeter.
Yep. I mean, we don't have a value estimate or anything.
Do we?
Yeah, so we knew that firearm is around $500, which is our cost. We valued it used at about $250. That's the even number. And so there is a little bit of a loss to the district there.
Can I ask how we valued it?
An online search for what a used firearm of that era would go for, that generation.
Is there a reason why we didn't contact like someone who actually does arms valuation? Because there is a manual that it determines everything.
Yeah, the reason being that it was just early in the process, and we wanted to make sure that this was something that the board would support before we devoted too much
Okay.
energy in that direction. You know, we would have to work with a federally licensed firearms dealer to have this transaction anyway, and so that person, I would expect, could actually help us with the valuation of the item as well.
Right, yep. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody else have any comment?
Well, I do understand his request and why. I don't see anything wrong with it, but I do understand the concern with, you know, when we go to hire another ADSS, you know, there's an expense involved in outfitting him.
We do have equipment to bring on a new ADSS. Right now, there actually is a surplus. We have an extra firearm from a previous employee who did not take theirs with them.
Similar?
Identical.
Yeah, they have the same. gear. They all have the same gear.
So it would be like anything else, if we say, okay, yep, this sounds good, then you would bring us all the information to actually surplus the firearm?
I absolutely could.
And then that's what well,
Yeah.
that's how we do the other stuff, so.
Absolutely. Yeah. The information that I received from the attorneys was that because its value is going to be less than $500, we presume, we have not verified that, that it would fall under the statute as something that the board could just declare surplus and then direct us to take care of it as
Right.
as we see is best. But that's not to say that for this particular instance, we don't bring it back to the board for your approval.
Are there other items that we don't approve for surplus? Trying to think. I think we all come before the board, don't they?
They're under a certain threshold.
$1,500, is that what it was?
Forget what it is.
I believe it's $500.
Hmm.
I'm not aware of anything that we omit from bringing to the
Yeah.
board.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Yeah, but the threshold is there.
Hmm.
I'm sorry,
It is 500.
500.
The reading on that is just, the board just says an employee is empowered to do that.
What?
Once we empower an employee to dispose of the property, then according to this, it's done. I mean,
Sorry, it's for theirs.
oh,
Do you want me to pull it?
That'd be grand.
I mean, I don't have any problem going down that road, but I would like more information, like who are we gonna be dealing with, who's the FFL, just because it is a firearm, it's not like a snowmobile or something.
ATV.
Yeah. That would be my only
does
thing.
FFL have
And
to
I'd
do
really
that?
like to see the valuation on the
Yeah.
weapon because they don't depreciate that much. Especially given the care that our ADSS has put into their weapons. So, I would be surprised if it was just a 250 Google searched value from an FFL.
Other than it is very common.
True.
Glock
It is a
19.
common weapon.
But yeah, it would be nice to know what it actually is from an inventory standpoint, like what are we, a little bit more information. I don't have any problem developing something or, I think this is definitely something that needs to be documented, as in, procedure and policy. Just because of what it is, and it's probably gonna come up again.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
this would set precedent for sure.
Yeah, so at least we could have all our ducks in a row when that happens again.
Well, I would be happy to move forward in the sense that we would identify a firearms dealer, get the valuation, essentially work out how it would unfold with all of the numbers and figures, and then present that again in August.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
The new one's about $677.
Yeah, well, we don't know generation or what it is. I mean, we don't know, is it a 10 round, 17 round, is it, I mean,
They're all about the same.
yeah. I don't know, I don't have a lot of familiarity with Glock. So,
All right, well, this is an action item.
okay.
Are we taking action on it?
I guess we could, I'm trying to think here, move to approve, the ADSS, the ability to purchase their firearm, going forward, and then the documentation, And all the other information will be brought back to the August board meeting for the overall approval. Does that make sense?
No.
No?
So we're going to approve the ADSS, the ability to buy back.
Mm-hmm.
Pending
All of the information.
further information that we
Correct.
receive.
Yeah, everything.
So you would approve the actual surplus in August?
Right, correct.
Okay.
Yeah, when you bring everything back, then we'll have all the information. Like I didn't hear anybody have an issue with allowing
Correct.
this, but now we needed the information on what it is and how we're going to allow the thing, who's going to be involved, or,
Okay.
being that it's our first time,
Sure.
and make sure that we have it all. So, I mean, I'm fine with that as long as we have a good process in place. So that was a lot in the motion. Do you need me to make another motion?
Maybe you could clarify.
I have a motion to approve the ADSS's ability to purchase their firearm pending additional information to be brought forth at the August meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the recommendation for RPD SRO.
At this time, as I've informed the board, we do not have a candidate to recommend for ADSS. And just because of the timing, it's July, and we know that we have school starting in a couple of months, we would like to continue to have the conversation with Rathdrum Police about an additional SRO to see if that is even an option at this point. I'm not sure that it is guaranteed. We have reopened the ADSS position and created a schedule in the district to review applications and also interview anybody who makes it through that first selection process multiple times a year. So that way we are looking on an ongoing basis for the right candidate.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, and then we can, I know there's been concern in the past that you're worried if it just stays open like people will, but, we just put a little caveat that this is a pool,
Yeah.
So they know that.
Yep. We did change the language quite a bit on the posting just to
Okay.
reflect that exactly so that
Yeah.
candidates, they know that that it's not a 2-week turnaround. It's something that requires a very unique individual.
Right.
And we take the hiring process very seriously for
Right.
that position. And so I think that the posting reflects that now.
Yeah.
Great.
Who looks at all of the applications that come in to see if they are actually qualified? Who's doing that?
This time around, it was myself, Mike Hogan, who's our ADSS up at Athol, John Hatcher, who's the ADSS at Lakeland High School, Brooke, HR Director Brooke
Yeah.
Cunningham. I think that was it this time around.
Can you share that information with the board so we can see who and what kind of people are applying for the position?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then that way we can sort of get a feel of if
Absolutely.
you guys are just getting dumped on with,
Mhm. Yeah, you will see applicants on our pre-screening spreadsheet. My disclaimer is that since we closed the position prior to interviewing, that is where the applicants cut off. And so we have had a couple more applications trickle in since then that won't be reflected on that sheet.
yeah, okay, yeah.
But yeah,
So we didn't leave the application process open even though we stated it was a pool? We still closed it?
well, we reopened it after the
Okay.
interviews.
Okay,
And so
gotcha.
almost immediately after the interviews were concluded, we reopened it with the new language.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
in fact, I think it was less than 48 hours. But it is our typical practice whenever we interview for most positions, we
Right.
close the posting so that we
Right.
don't have new applicants the day before interviews are scheduled.
Well, with this being a pool, if we are to find ourselves in a position where we have, 5 candidates that we want to interview from the pool, would we still keep the position open, or are we going to bring it down because we're interviewing? I mean, because this board's perspective is that we're supposed to be in this position where we're acquiring an ADSS basically for each building. That's not happening overnight. But we seem to have stalled on it greatly.
Yeah, I think that really is a position control question for the board. So like right now it's open and we have one vacancy in our position control. And so we absolutely could leave the position open, but we would probably come back to the board to make sure that the trustees were comfortable approving another position.
Yeah, I would agree with that, just because we'll make sure with the budget or whatever constraint may be there. I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, and part of that ongoing conversation is going to be the funding. I mean, right now that is something that is listed on our supplemental levy, and we want to make sure that that's something that continues to be a board priority moving forward before we continue to hire.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Did we have any more update from, just jog my memory, I can't remember, from the county regarding the SRO program and them talking about bringing narcotic dogs on campus? And
The latest that I have heard is that the contract will not reflect anything about drug dogs in schools.
okay. And they won't come unless the board's aware?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
My disclaimer is that I have not seen the new contract
Sure,
myself,
yes.
but that is the latest conversation that I've had.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
So you're wanting us to take action on keeping the ADSS position posted?
Well, I believe that the board,
It seems like there's multiple things where you want us to do, so I'm trying to clarify that, just so you understand.
sure, yeah. Yes, and the reason why is because we are potentially going into a year where we can foresee that if the board approved both of these recommendations, if we moved forward with Rathdrum PD for a year and found an ADSS that was a great fit in December, we're potentially adjusting our position control. And so I would love for the board to take action on both of these things, just so that we don't find ourselves in a situation where I have gotten ahead of you in any hiring.
And I greatly appreciate that. I know the board has asked numerous times for the ADSS position to remain open.
Yeah.
So the fact that it was taken down and closed is new to the board. When you're talking about position control, the reason the position was supposed to remain open is because the contracts with the SROs is quite costly compared to what we can do when we hire our own employee. So it has always been my understanding that that position remains open so that we could, if the qualified candidate came along, cut back on the SRO contracts, because they are expensive, with the exception of the grant that's funding Spirit Lake. So I guess this is all new again. Okay. So it looks like we need a couple of motions in this. I would prefer to single them out so that we have two separate motions.
Okay.
If anyone would like to make a motion on the ADSS position, that would be great.
So that you see them as keeping it open and going to Rathdrum? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, the
Okay.
ADSS position to remain open, quarterly renewal or
Right.
review of applications.
And then the
interviews.
Rathdrum
And then,
SRO.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I would move to accept the superintendent's recommendation to keep the ADSS position posted, reviewing the applications on a quarterly basis.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Okay, and I would also accept the superintendent's recommendation to pursue an additional SRO with Rathdrum Police Department for security coverage until we can fill the position with the ADSS.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. And I would just like to clarify that this is the interim superintendent's recommendation.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to the handbooks. We have the student handbooks and the teaching and learning handbooks.
I thought we had asked for this before, but I couldn't remember. There's been a lot of change, but it would be easier if, like, when they make changes, to just, like, tell us a list of what they changed, you know, instead of having to, you know, go through every single thing, and it would just make it a lot easier, especially this time of year with all the handbooks and everything that we go through. And then that way, that's really the only thing we have to really focus on. I mean, we peruse the whole thing, but if we had a list of, here's everything that was updated, or here's the things we changed, or,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I do want to make a note on the student handbooks that we do expect the policy on graduation requirements to be updated in the next couple of months. And so that will be a change that's reflected in that student handbook when that update is made.
yeah, I saw your note in there. Regarding that.
It looks like we did not have access to the Timberlake Middle School book.
And I had problems with quite a few of the different links for different things, like, I don't know what was going on with it.
Well, on the teaching and learning handbook, I couldn't access anything, but on the student handbook, it's just the Timberlake Middle School.
Okay. Yeah, I apologize about that. That is an oversight on my part.
So, would it be a fair statement to state that nothing's changed within the student handbooks with the exception of updated policies?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and bell schedules and teacher
Right,
names. Yep,
right.
absolutely.
The things that get altered every year?
Yep, there
Okay.
are no other changes. I described this in much more detail for the teaching and learning handbook, but that is also the case for the teaching and learning handbook.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, yep, there are no changes.
All the links to the Idaho Department of Education are page not bounds.
Okay.
Yeah, and that could be with all their updates that some of those might get broken.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you pointing that out. They were all updated earlier this year, and
Right.
we need to update them again.
I love the site. It looks great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
there was a great effort at the beginning of the year to really move towards permanence with all of our items and our teaching and learning materials. So hopefully that is a step in the right direction.
It's getting really warm in here.
It is.
Yeah, it's roasting. I don't have anything.
Did you have anything, Jeff?
No, I don't. I'm taking care of it, concern.
Okay. Dave, anything?
No, I'm good.
All right, then I will move to approve the student handbooks and the teaching and learning handbook as presented, along with the teaching and learning site for approval.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the curriculum director job description.
So this would be another admin position.
Right.
And why did we come up with this curriculum director?
Because as the interim superintendent, the responsibilities of curriculum and instruction were falling by the wayside, and not being able to fulfill being an interim superintendent, an assistant superintendent, managing the curriculum, etc. The board did give permission for a curriculum director to be sought, because as the interim superintendent, that's where Mr. Massey felt that a good focus should be. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's extremely valuable work that, without that support at the district level, that work is not getting done in a very timely manner.
I don't have any questions.
Dave, any questions?
I'm good.
Jeff?
Okay. kind of as if you were a twin and you were asking your twin to fill in for what you can't do. Right?
It's an important job. We hope to find somebody great.
So the one thing I don't see in here is this curriculum director working with the board, because under statute, it's the board's responsibility for the curriculum committee and all the approval with the new laws that went into effect a couple of years ago. 4 years ago now, I guess it is. And I'm not seeing that. I mean, it appoints this person as the chair.
We certainly can add a bullet point there to outline that this person would be expected to work with the board in those approval processes.
Yeah. I'm trying to find was it 33-118, I think, is the curriculum.
Why did we not specify, we've got at least 5 years successful teaching experience, and then we have successful experience as building principal or in district level leadership, instructional leadership role preferred. Why is that not more definitive? I mean, that seems pretty broad.
You know, I have to say that I took this language from other policies, or not policies, excuse me, other job descriptions that I found from around the state. And that language was just borrowed from other examples. Whenever
Okay.
we, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah, the wording looked pretty, I don't want to say generic in the sense that it was lacking, but it was standard. When I looked through it and just pulled a couple of them up, it didn't seem like it. Like it was anything other than that.
I mean, because at least 5 years successful teaching experience, which is what we actually have on the assistant superintendent job description, then we also have at least 5 years successful experience as building principal. That's why I was like,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
took it from our assistant superintendent. We're specific on teaching, but not on administrative, which I
I don't know that the building principal thing is, I mean, is that necessary for curriculum? I mean, I can see the teaching, obviously, and all
Right.
that, but I don't know. And I don't know, how does that lend to the person's qualifications that being a building principal when it comes to curriculum?
You know, we would expect to see some experience at the building or district level so that we can verify that they understand the scale of the work that has to be done. But certainly, I mean, prioritizing classroom experience.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I believe an effective curriculum director is one who keeps in mind the experience of the teacher much more so than the experience of the principal. However, Trustee Thompson, to your point, we do want to verify that they have experience with systems that are outside of a single classroom.
right.
Yeah.
So the first qualification being current Idaho administrator and/or superintendent certificate and Idaho teaching certificate with appropriate endorsements as determined by the board. That's a lot for a one qualification. Superintendent certification preferred. What is it that we're asking them to have in that one item?
I mean, I think that we're looking for somebody who is certified to work at the district level.
Okay. Do we think there's a clearer way to state that?
I mean, I certainly am open to suggestions. I can go back and revise that language for brevity.
Is there any other conversation or discussion to be had on this job description?
Yeah, it seems like it's a mesh between assistant superintendent and curriculum director. Instead of being just the curriculum director and just an assistant superintendent, at least when I read it. So I went back to look at some other things. I just want to make sure there, and I guess I should have done that, was to pull the assistant soup's job description and compare the two. Because we want to make sure we're not overlapping, I would think anyways, those things if we're going to have a person devoted to that, you know. And to be definitely detailed in the expectation.
Well, to be clear, that this is exactly what that is. It is all of the curriculum and instruction related duties from the assistant superintendent job description.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Combined with looking at some details from some other districts, because that those items from our own assistant sup job description didn't stand by themselves, I thought,
right.
And so I went through and added some more things to round it out.
Okay.
I think what might be beneficial because in looking at the assistant superintendent job description, I mean, we have general, then we have curriculum and staff development, and then we have personnel and public information. I think if we're going to move forward with the definitive description for curriculum director, with expectations, et cetera, we need to revise the assistant superintendent. And we need to see who's doing what, why, when, where. I really do, because because if you're just, I know you utilized others around that you saw, but if you're taking off of the superintendent job description to put it on the curriculum director, and we're not modifying the assistant superintendent job description, then we have a significant amount of overlap.
Yeah.
So I think to get a whole picture, we need to look at both of them as to what would the duties of the assistant superintendent be as opposed to a curriculum director.
Yeah, and I guess we did not take that approach initially because I do not expect that we will ever have a person in both positions at the same time.
Oh, so why are we doing this then? I mean, okay. Yeah, because the other thing I was gonna say is, shouldn't we want them to have a degree in curriculum and instruction if they're the curriculum coordinator? I mean, yeah, they could be teacher, principal, all those things, but I mean, I believe there is a degree for that, for the
Yeah, there is.
admin, the curriculum and
Certainly.
yeah, instruction. So are you saying that you're actually are trying to get one person to sort of fit those two, the assistant sup and the curriculum, like taking the pieces that you identified as being very, I mean, it's all important, but more important and necessary at this time.
Mhm.
And that's what this curriculum director job description.
Yeah, I mean, at this time, we're not planning to replace an assistant superintendent in that position. And because of that, we know that the work needs to be done from that vacant position. And so that's why this really is just taken mostly from our own assistant superintendent job description.
Okay, that's why it was.
Yeah, and we know that that would not be a position that would remain if we ever did replace an assistant superintendent.
Who made the decision that we're not hiring an assistant superintendent?
It was a recommendation based on current circumstances.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say, because I haven't had that conversation. Okay, so it gives me a little bit more information. Yeah, I don't know that that's the case, but, I mean, has the board had that conversation? I did miss a couple meetings when I was sick.
I thought so. We were going to replace.
You guys decide not to hire an assistant superintendent at the time?
Yeah, for a while.
For a while?
Yeah.
Well, until we can resolve one issue, we can't necessarily
Yeah.
Right.
jump into another situation.
Right.
So-
What we need was-
Yeah, okay, all right, so we have more discussion, okay,
Yeah,
in a more appropriate setting.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, obviously, I agree with the whole curriculum thing, that's always been my forefront. But it all got thrown away a couple years ago for, I forget what the money was for. So I thought we just sort of, weren't we told that the curriculum wasn't that important? Okay, I don't have any more input.
My only caution is that we have an assistant superintendent job description with
Right.
qualifications that don't even equal what the expectations are of this curriculum director. And so if we're trying to create a position to kind of overlap and be both positions, I think we're kind of off the mark.
I don't, I didn't mean to interrupt you, I apologize.
That's fine.
I don't think it would be a fair expectation of this person to expect them to overlap or have any assistant superintendent job duties. And I don't believe that the expectation would be that they do anything outside of this job description. I just don't think that that would be fair to this person. And so that's why I believe that it remains the best thing to leave the assistant superintendent job description intact. Because should we bring that back, we will need that job description to be what it is.
Yeah, and I think this needs to be tweaked more specific to, you know, you need a degree with the curriculum and content, whatever it was, the actual degree. I think it needs to be tweaked more specific to a curriculum director so that we don't end up in a position where we have an overlap. And when the time comes, I mean, I can't imagine we're going to go forever without an assistant superintendent. When the time comes and we aren't trying to figure out how to mesh these two people. And I agree with Jake. I think there's plenty enough under that heading to keep a person definitely full time. You know, there's a lot to be done. Or continued, I guess, really.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
update everything that was being done, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see some other things too. I mean, even this person could be more focused too on getting like the website information, you know, more to the public kind of thing, you
Yeah.
know. For a curriculum director. But I do agree that it does need, I believe, in just the qualifications, that we should probably put the,
Well, and what salary are we starting a curriculum director out at? Because the position is not on the certified administrator salary matrix.
Yeah, we would propose that it goes in the same column as our other certified director, our federal programs director.
Okay.
what is that? Anybody know what that?
It's 116,254.
And what's the assistant soup?
127.50.
But that's without benefits and everything, right? That's just
Correct.
the salary itself, yeah, okay. I would move to turn the fan back on, we just have to talk louder.
I can get the fan. Thank you, Tim.
It's quite warm.
It is
Yes,
quite
it is.
warm. I
Yes.
agree with you there.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. That's loud. All right.
When is our next meeting, or for the soonest, our next meeting is scheduled? The second week of August?
First.
August
week?
5th would be a potential,
Special board
okay.
meeting. And then the regular would be on August 19th.
I'm thinking we'll tweak it and then bring it back.
So would you motion to table it?
Well, until the August, I mean, if we want all those changes in there into, I mean, I don't know, I'm open to input, but I don't see how else we can do it. I'm trying to think, but we don't really have something laid out other than a discussion of what
Right.
we wanted, you know, the difference to be.
Correct.
So only way I know to do that soonest would be to table it until the August 5th meeting. What do you guys think?
Sounds fine with me.
Dave's good with that.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so then I move to table the curriculum director job description until the August 5th meeting, where we should be provided with more information.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Can I clarify so that I do this correctly? What is the additional information?
Yes. Well, I think it needs to be, so definitely the curriculum and,
Curriculum and instruction.
yep. And I mean, I would think that there would be, and maybe it's the layout that is part of it. Maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, just the curriculum and the instruction degree. Yeah, and I think just make it more like a curriculum director. You know, instead of the meshing between the two. Of those, and I can put some notes in there,
Yeah, that would be helpful.
and I'll tag you in it, and then that way, you know, you can tell me, no, that's ridiculous, or that'll work, or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of it is, you know, obviously just basic. You already have it in there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, moving on to the interim superintendent contract. There was some confusion with regard to the board taking action on the offer for interim superintendent. From the last board meeting, we had technical difficulties at the end, did not capture any motions. So for clarification purposes, the interim superintendent contract has been brought back for board action.
Again, because it wasn't captured.
Correct, because it wasn't captured. And the interim superintendent, I mean, we addressed this last month because his contract expired on the 30th of June.
Thank you, Jake.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
So do we need to have any questions or conversations? Okay.
I don't have any anyways.
No. Okay. All right, so then with respect to what was discussed at the last board meeting, I move to approve the contract to providing a interim superintendent contract to Jake Massey with an annual salary of $152,000 with an annual review by the Board of Trustees. His contract will be 230 paid contract days. There will be an additional 3 flex days earned through evening and weekend work. The district will pay 100% of the family premium for the buy-up, medical plan, and for family dental coverage for the contract year. And the district will also pay his membership dues to the Idaho Association of School Administrators.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, we will do a roll call vote.
Give me just a second here, I want to get it all in.
Type faster.
Trying.
Say your words anytime.
Okay. Trustee Broadhead?
Yes.
Trustee Thompson?
Yes.
Trustee Grissom?
Yes.
Trustee Quimby?
Yes.
Thank you.
On that, the motion carries, and thank you for being our interim for the 26-27 school year.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
It's a privilege.
It is an honor.
Yes, it is.
Moving on to the IT security audit.
Chad Carson, Technology Director.
Thank you for being here, John.
Okay, so pen tester can do a security audit for $12,000, is that correct?
That's correct. That's a pretty discounted rate as well.
Were you familiar with them?
I've heard of them. I haven't used them. No.
Yeah. What, and did you talk to them yourself?
Huh?
Did
No.
you speak
I
to
have
them?
not
You
speak with
haven't?
them yet.
Okay.
No. I have speak with the other option here, which we're recommending going with both options.
Okay.
The other option, I was in charge of, I was heading up, speaking with them. That's the National Guard option, which is free to us, but they are booked out pretty far, so it'll be November at least, potentially later than November timeframe for that. They're a little different audits, you know, so it's good to have both options and to pursue both. They don't do the same exact thing. But yeah, I've spoken with that one a little bit more than the pen tester.
Well, and I figured you were probably at least somewhat familiar with the lingo. Did you see the proposed contract where you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I've reviewed
Okay.
the contract.
Oh, okay, perfect. Was there anything you would add, or?
No, it's pretty comprehensive, to
Okay.
be honest. Yeah. So,
Okay, so it would leave us in a good spot, at least give you guys at least a working plan.
Agreed.
Not that you don't have one, but you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying, how
absolutely.
fast everything changes. Okay. And it is you think that's a good choice to do both of them?
I think yeah, especially because one of them is essentially free to us. It's funded by the Department of Defense. It's a grant that they have. So yeah, and like I said, they're a little bit different.
Yeah.
One's penetration testing, and one is more just security audit in general.
Right.
So yeah, I think both options are a great option to have. So.
Okay.
Can one, like say we have the first option done and the second, is there someone involved in security that can look at the two of them?
Yeah, so they're going
See how
to they're going to
if there's
provide
any
us.
missing.
Both of them are going to provide
Yeah.
us a follow up with their findings. You know, and we're going to review it with both of those teams.
Okay.
Our team will be heavily involved, right? So you know they're going to need access to certain things.
Right.
And so our team's going to be involved in both of those processes. The Department of Defense one actually comes on site for 5 days, which is kind of nice because they'll give us, you know, some of their recommendations
Yeah.
on site. But the pen testing one is a little more, like I said, a little more advanced. They're actually trying to hack in,
Yeah.
essentially, and then they're going to go through all those protocols of, hey, maybe you think about tightening security in this area versus this area. So, like I said, they're really not the same kind of
Right.
test. So it's great to have both options.
Will the two be firewalled from each other, or?
Yes.
Okay.
They're only allowed areas that
Okay.
we want them to be allowed to. But yeah, we're going to open it up. You know, so you know.
I don't know if that's the right term for it.
What's that?
Firewall. Can the two be? Are the two firewalled from each other?
Well,
Well,
like he was saying,
that-
they're two totally different things, so one doesn't really affect the
But
other.
they won't share.
And they'll be at different times.
No.
So we're going to be
Yeah.
doing the pen, if approved, I should say. We're going to be doing the penetration testing as soon as possible, ideally in August before school starts, just because technology is crazy. The first September of our lives is 60-hour weeks, you know, in technology. So ideally we would get that one done in August, and the other one, like I said, they're booked out to at least November. So they won't be on site till at least November. Most likely that's going to be more like February, just because when I talked to them about November, that was 2 months ago. So
That's fun. That's fun. They wouldn't need to be right back. And actually, I think pen tester going first is probably a better thing. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm actually sort of excited. I'm curious to see what the results are, and I think it just gives us more confidence in,
Sure, absolutely.
you know, and the community. You know, they know that no, I mean you can't do any more than that. You've covered everything, right?
Yeah,
So
Yeah. Yeah, technology has no qualms with going down this route.
That's
So
awesome.
we're in agreement of, I mean, obviously the money's the money, but beyond that, we're excited to see the results as well, so.
yeah, and that's the money. Actually, in comparison, if there was some type of a breach or something, I mean, what you would pay
Sure.
to fix the
To fix a
issue
breach,
would
sure.
be
It'd be more than that,
exponentially.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, way more. So it's a good investment, and I think it gives the technology department, you know, kudos, pat on the back, or it's something to work on, or what, you know, what I think it's good for them too. You know, it's good for everybody.
Do we currently have any phishing preventative measures?
Yes, so we have internal phishing controls and email controls. The one that was the latest one,
Yeah.
that was shared via Google Docs. We're not able to block external Google Docs shares, so it's shared directly from Google. It's not emailed. Does that make sense? Like when you share a document, you type in somebody's name, it's shared from that profile. Because we're a Google district, because we deal with Google districts, so Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, those send us Google shares. So if we block outside Google shares,
Yeah.
we're blocking all Google shares from ours. So, but when they come internally, I don't know if you noticed, but when you come internally, our phishing kicks in. So essentially, if you forward that email, it gets blocked internally because
Yeah.
it catches it. But we can't block the Google shares themselves.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
because when we got that one, I did try to send it to you and Jake for research because
Sure.
I looked at it and I'm like, this is
Yeah.
not
Yeah, yeah.
legit. But when I did, it popped up, you can't send this message.
Correct.
So
And
then how
that's-
else do I notify you that we've got this going on?
You would just email me separately. Yeah. Because,
Okay.
so we have a help desk system. I can share that link with you guys, but that's how our staff submit requests is via a help desk system, kind of like a work order system for facilities. We have a help desk system. Now, you don't necessarily have to use that, but that's how we were notified of that. Many different staff members.
Okay.
We had three tickets actually within 30 minutes, 3 separate tickets that were on the same issue
Okay.
for that, so.
There was one about 2 or
So-
3 months ago
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
I got hit.
they come in occasionally for sure. Now we do fishing trainings. Now it's been 3 years since we've done a staff fishing training, so it's probably a good idea to do another one. But 3 years ago we did fishing trainings, what to look out for, what not to click on things. Stuff you would think is common sense, but they're
good
pretty.
to have
Some of those are
reminders.
pretty convincing.
Right, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
certainly admit
It looks
some of those.
internal to the district.
Exactly.
and-
So,
Sad
so
story.
there's that training available that we can refresh with our staff members.
So if what you're saying is that had someone tried to forward that email to me within our district, it would have popped up with the same stop sign that I got when I tried to
Correct,
forward it to you
correct,
people?
correct.
Okay.
It's
All right.
because it was specifically a Google share, and that's kind of,
Okay.
that's unfortunately kind of a workaround for the phishing people now.
Okay.
That's kind of how they can get through.
I think Google-
Yeah, and the danger would be clicking the document,
Right.
right? Not
Actually, the
even
danger is not necessarily clicking the
Yeah.
document. It depends on the phishing attack.
Right.
The danger is not necessarily clicking the document. Usually when you click the document, it says log in. That's the danger.
Right.
Or
Well, that's
download
right.
this file.
Right,
That's
right.
the danger.
Yeah.
So just going to the document is usually not the danger. It's what you do after you
Well, I
go to
mean,
that
when
document.
when you activate the link, it's
Yeah.
part of their social engineering to try and get you to, give up your credentials to that. I was just concerned somebody would click it and follow the directions. But that is another thing that they will be testing for.
Okay.
Yep. And I wouldn't be surprised, I mean, I don't know, I know in the past they have had people locally that would go park in the parking lot or park, whatever to see. So I don't know if it's all remote, I don't know, but I'm curious if the board approves to see what,
Well, it's something we've been asking for
Yeah.
several years now.
yeah. Yeah,
And it's not gonna go away.
right. Yep. And I mean, I don't know how much professional development you guys get other than what you do for yourself, you know,
Oh, we have to renew certifications, for
Yeah.
example, but yeah.
to, you know, at least to have some kind of peer conversation or review, but yeah. I don't have any more questions, and I think it's a good idea.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll just-
Do we have funds that would be able to be utilized for this?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is probably going to hit the general fund,
Right.
but it will come through technology so that it's all coded appropriately.
Okay. Would any of the fundings that they receive cover this?
Our own technology department,
Mm-hmm.
that is a pretty slim budget at this point in time.
Okay.
And so we can code it that way, but again, I would expect that down the road, it's ultimately going to impact our general fund.
Okay.
I still believe, and I know our CFO agrees, we believe that this is still worth pursuing, even with the
Absolutely.
funds spent. And so we're willing to do what we need to do to adjust
Yeah.
so that we can get this done.
It's almost an emergency. Across the wall.
What was that? Nothing? I have no more questions or anything.
Okay. Well, then I move to approve the interim superintendent's recommendation that we schedule both pen tester, security audit for $12,000, as well as utilizing the Idaho National Guard's free security audit for the fall of 2026, and as soon as they can possibly get us on their schedules.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries.
Great. Thank you. We
Thank
will
you.
get that scheduled.
Perfect.
Chad,
Moving
thank
on to policy. The first policy is student dress.
Had 87% approval rating. It did.
Yes, but I am really challenged within the feedback, which, oh, y'all didn't get to see the feedback.
What's up?
Okay, well, there was significant feedback, in my opinion, from staff about the fact that administrators are not supporting teachers when the teachers are coming and saying, we have a violation here, and administrators are saying, oh, let's let it slide. That
Or they're
has to
blaming the board.
Well, we're the blame for everything, but that has to change. We can't keep having these policies that administrators subjectively interpret when they're like, I don't really want to deal with the parent because I know that parent's cranky, or, I mean, it was that way with the cell phones. When we said no more cell phones in school, in classrooms, we have administrators that are like, well, they can have it on their person. No, that's not what the policy says, but we're not enforcing the policies. So it was very disheartening to me to hear from our staff, our teaching staff, that they're very frustrated with, they want to enforce this, but they're not getting the support from administration. And so it's kind of like, why even have it in the first place? If no one's going to enforce it, why have it? And we all know I'm for uniforms, so.
Do we all know? Now we do.
Now you all know. So, I mean, how do we resolve that and make assurance to our teaching staff that they have the support of administrators? I mean, my struggle with some of the language in here is, and which people did point out, it's all subject to interpretation. But, if you've got building administrators that are telling teachers I'm not going to call the parent, just let it slide. That has to stop. How do we stop it?
Well, and I think it goes more, I think it goes past just the administrators also, because I remember last time we had the round table, you had teachers from one classroom to another classroom that this teacher was like, oh yeah, I don't worry about it, and this teacher's like, no, you know,
Right.
this is blah, blah, blah. So I think it's across the board, but definitely if you have the administrator making that decision, that does make it much more difficult for enforcement.
Well, from the comments, which I'm bummed they're not there, but the comments were, you know, we send them off to the principal because that's what they're supposed to do, and the principal sends them right back to the classroom. Just, you know, it's not that big of a violation, let's let it slide. And, you know, I respect the teacher's frustration where it's like, why bother enforcing it when I have no support in enforcing it?
Yeah, I mean, I think
I mean, I would encourage you to read the comments if you didn't.
I did read all of the comments.
Okay.
I did. Yep. And I understand the comments that you're referring to. And I don't mean to be dismissive of this as a concern, but I do just want to, for the record, acknowledge that this is a very complex situation to navigate broadly, because it is often subject to interpretation. And our administrators really value upholding the policy for dress code and for discipline and other things, but we also want to uphold the attendance policy, and we also want to value seat time in class. And so I do think that there are areas where we can, without a doubt, improve. And I believe that this policy will help us. I think that it's much more clear now and easier to interpret. And I'm happy to personally guarantee that I'll follow up with our administrators and make sure that we are doing this. But I do just want to acknowledge that sometimes it is not quite as simple as addressing it point blank in the moment, because it is subject to interpretation and student.
Well, I would also like to throw in there were some parents that their comments were like, apparently at the middle school, it's a significant problem of non-enforcement. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's the parents' perspective.
Sure.
And, you know, you see the children and then you wonder why. No one noticed this today, but, and I get there's more involved than just go change your clothes. But it is my understanding that every school has sort of a clothing closet. Is that not accurate?
It is accurate.
Okay. So I guess I don't understand why it should be such an obstacle if we have, you know, if it's a matter of not wanting to deal with a parent for fear of the reactiveness of that parent, then let the child borrow something from the clothing closet to resolve. And I mean, I would think there's always got to be a workaround, but if our workaround is constantly to just let it slide, we're going in the wrong direction. And there is no point in having policies if we're not going to enforce them.
Yeah, I certainly don't think that our administrators are looking for an out. I mean, without a doubt, we experience situations where parents are difficult to deal with and all of that. So I'm not denying that is a reality sometimes. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm happy to follow up. This is something that we do want to take very seriously. And I also, I guess, I don't assume to know the circumstances about which those individual teachers are concerned about. And so I think the best I can do right now is say that we'll reiterate this and even emphasize it for the fall and make sure that we're going into the school year on the same page about the policy and what our interpretation is, and make sure that it's a priority.
Okay.
Why did this come back to the policy committee? Was it an admin thing again?
It was.
Was it the third time we've touched it, and every time it's been from admin, and every time they basically write it, And every time it's much clearer, but maybe this time, third time's the charm.
Third time's
It'll
a
work.
charm, and
Yeah,
it's one of those things, maybe like technology a little bit, in that keeping up with the trends is
right.
part of this for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
The one thing that I would like to point out is that there was no, and that some comments addressed the fact that we're not discussing shorts or skirts,
oh,
that language was removed.
oh, why?
That was the recommendation.
Oh,
Prior administration was trying to combine a whole bunch of stuff and whatnot. And so there was comments about the fact that, you know, you really, I mean, there were some, you know, skirts need to go down really low
right.
and shorts need to cover. But in discussing it, the committee felt that the very first bullet point, you know, basically should address that. But I don't know what the board feels about it, because there is nothing that talks about the shorts or skirts.
Well, the only thing I can think is that was originally, and I think the other times too, that was part of the reason is for the shorts were getting really short and so were the skirts, and
They were.
the teachers and the principals were having issues. But then we had the same conversation, you know, so you take a 5-foot student compared to a 5'10" student, and
Right.
you know, where it sits on this one does, I mean,
Well,
so that's what I guess you say, you know, it can't be any higher than this above the knee, or,
Right.
yeah, you know, whatever. What is the other surrounding school districts look like? Just out of curiosity. Did we look at them?
I did not.
Is it just the generic, I think we tried that too, well, that's how it was initially, I think. So did you have parent feedback on this one also?
We did.
Okay.
We had a lot.
Oh, perfect. Good.
And the majority of the parents were, you know, either in favor or making suggestions
Okay.
for clarification.
Mm-hmm.
And we did add language in here about the enforcement, so that,
Oh, yeah, that was part of like step 1, step 2, step 3, that way?
no, we just are basically saying that, you know, because that was another question, was how many times do we let kids keep violating and we don't, you know,
Right.
go on and on. So we did add language that parents and guardians will be notified when a student is in violation of the policy and no remedy is available. Students who are insubordinate or refuse to change their improper attire, or who have 3 dress code violations within a school year, shall be subject to disciplinary action. Which, that language was pretty vague before.
Right. Yeah, and I think that was part of the issue, they weren't sure.
Right.
There wasn't enough for them to know how they were supposed to handle it.
Right.
So your question was, how does the board feel about no language for the skirts and the what is
Correct.
it, shorts?
Shorts.
And what was the feedback from any principals or any other administrators or teachers?
Well, what was on the feedback sheet was just basically make sure the skirts cover the bottoms and that the shorts aren't short shorts and all that sort of stuff, which, you know, we didn't, what we said before in the policy was that skirts and dresses must be a minimum length of mid-thigh, shorts must be a minimum length of mid-thigh, and then leg coverings with holes above mid-thigh must not show skin. Where now we're just saying leg coverings must be worn at the waistline. And shirts and tops must fully cover students' undergarments, chest, back, and midriff area. Tube tops and strapless tops are not allowed.
To answer your question directly, Trustee Grissom, the principals are very comfortable with this language.
Okay.
And prefer it over being too specific for the
Okay.
reason that you identified, actually, because I think it puts both students and administrators and staff in a tough position to try to fairly discern whenever students are, I mean, we get them at age 5 and they graduate
Right.
at age 18, and so their height and
Right.
they change quite a bit during that time.
Right, right, yeah.
And a lot of, like, when it came to tops and, you know, the 2-finger width, the strap for tank top, etc., you know, it was pointed out a lot of dresses, especially when it's a lot warmer, they're
Right.
spaghetti strap, and it doesn't
Right.
mean that they're inappropriate.
Right,
But yet, if they're not 2 inches, then they're in violation. So trying to give some more flexibility without totally going off the rail.
yeah, that wasn't the board's doing, that was admin at the time did that.
Understand that?
And we had that discussion, yeah, I'm fine, I mean, they looked at it, they like it the way it is, then I'm fine with that. They'll just have to address it if it becomes a problem, then it'll just have
We'll
to
see the
be
policy
addressed.
next year.
Yeah. We just don't want to have body parts falling out.
Yeah, that's not good. All right, so I move to approve policy 3255, student dress.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to the uniform grievance policy 4120. This is one that's been years in the making. I am curious why the draft doesn't have any red language in it.
Not sure.
Okay, not a problem. The one thing that it still doesn't address, is maybe it does. Hold on. I suppose it does address it without actually calling it out. It's part of the struggle with this procedure from when it first came about that it needed revision was if anyone had issue with the superintendent, what do they do? So, while it doesn't necessarily identify that, in step 3, if someone's not satisfied with the superintendent's decision, then they would come to the board. where, I mean, the whole process is, step one, you try and deal with that person. If it doesn't work, then you go to the administration. If it doesn't work, then you go to the superintendent. If it doesn't work, then you go all the way up to the board. But you have to go through all of those steps. The challenge becomes the fact that we're your boss. So if they have a grievance with you, the only thing they could do is come to us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that is clarified in here so that people understand.
Did Megan look at this one? She was the reason that we kept putting it off
Right.
anyways because of the changes.
Right, she asked, just to bring you up to speed, because I don't know if you are aware.
Sure.
Was it 2 years ago?
Or longer.
The legislation was going to enact legislation with respect to the uniform grievance procedures for schools. And we were told, halt, don't make any changes. Well, then that never occurred, and it's sat out there.
Okay.
So then we went back to Megan, and she drafted language, and then it got lost in the shuffle. So we've been trying to resolve the fact that if someone were to have a frustration complaint issue with a superintendent, what do they do? Because this doesn't give them, I mean, they can't, they would go from step one to the board, because they should try and address
Start
it with the
with the
superintendent.
employee, yeah.
And if they can't, then they have to come straight to the board. So I don't know that this policy paints that clearly. However, I mean, within step 4, it says if you don't like what the superintendent says, then you go to the board.
Right.
And I wouldn't want anything like we've had in recent past where people are denied because the superintendent doesn't feel that the board should be weighing in on agreements.
Yeah, she was supposed to remedy that too, so.
Well, I know that she gave language, and I know that some of what she gave was incorporated,
Okay.
but then this just sat in the drive and never made it back to the board.
Yeah, but even after that, I mean, either way, we're here now, but even after that, there was something that she wanted to do or was going to do, and this is only 3 of 4 pages. So we need to fix that if we do accept this.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's, I don't know where the 4th page is, or what was on it.
It may just be lingering.
Yeah.
A lot of the page numbering I've been finding has not been.
Inaccurate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure it was maybe put on the document correctly, so that it implements. Yeah, but this actually goes right along with that. And so did Megan look at this version or no?
I don't believe. Did
This
she?
is I went back through old emails, and this is the version that Megan made changes and recommendations to.
Okay.
But she hasn't looked at this one. Even though we took all of that and compiled it, she hasn't seen this compiled version.
I honestly don't know that I can
Okay.
answer that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just wondering if we should do that because that was because of prior instances of issues or things. That's why we also ended up on this grievance. Maybe we should have her look at it, or if you feel comfortable the way it is. Do you feel comfortable the way it is? Or do you think she should look at it?
I'd like to, I think it should have the superintendent how to deal,
Mm-hmm.
if there's agreements with him,
Yeah.
or not the superintendent, can't be blamed for the interim.
Mm-hmm.
Trustee Quimby, I'll be honest with you, I can't hear you. but I see
Yeah.
that you're smiling at me, so I think
Yeah.
I think we're okay.
I'm going deaf.
Okay.
Said you can't be blamed because you're not the superintendent.
Oh,
You're
sure.
in- you're
Yeah,
in-
you're gonna have to put a
You're the
line
interim.
there for interim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Parent and that.
There you go.
respectfully, I mean, if it's a personnel matter, that has its own process,
Right.
as well as student grievances are not handled through this. But I do think there should be a paragraph added that just specifies, you know, if you feel your grievance is directed at the top, this is what you have to do. I mean, first try to resolve it with the superintendent, and if that doesn't go, then you would fill the form out, because there is a form that goes with this to come to the board. So,
Yeah, what the grievance is different with the victim situation to go to the offender.
well, the uniform grievance policy is specific to, if you believe that your rights have been violated as guaranteed by state or federal constitutions, state or federal statutes, or board policy, then the following should apply. Basically, the way I read this is it's more about for our parents. If they have concern with a teacher, they're to go to that teacher and try to resolve it. And if it doesn't work there, then they go to the building principal. If it doesn't work there, then they go to the superintendent. If it doesn't go there, then they come on before us. This isn't about, as a teacher, my building principal is not nice to me. That's a personnel matter and it's handled slightly differently than this.
Except that that was one of the instances when we had another issue. That was the problem, was that the grievance did end up being with the superintendent,
Right,
but there was no, that's why Megan got involved.
right.
Because it turned into a big mess because the superintendent halted the grievance against themselves instead
Right.
of moving the grievance to the board. So you're correct in that they're personnel, but this, and that's one of the reasons that it was held and she was gonna update it. That's why I say I think she needs to go back over it and make sure that we don't end up in that same position again,
Right.
because it can be costly.
Yes, yes it can.
Um,
Okay. Well, then I move to table, as much as I hate to, policy 4120, to be sent to Megan O'Dowd, in addition to asking for clarification on language that can be put in here to address grievances. The intention of this with grievances against the superintendent and coming before the board. And if we can resolve this and bring it back to the August 5th board meeting, that'd be great.
On it.
Okay. So that was a motion to table.
okay, I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Okay, the next policy is the work day. And I don't know if anything was changed on this. This was worked on when I was not in policy committee.
I can run through it. Give me just a second here.
Okay.
There's this one strike through as.
Yeah,
Why
it was
did
it was a small language change.
Yeah, it was just as, it was stricken, so here's the original one. And then if you look at the draft, it was just a strike through. Time is not considered part of the workday. Instead of time is not considered as part of the workday.
I think there was an additional part here. Hold on.
Okay.
Brooke, do you remember off the top of your head, it was a language revision for the workday policy? I believe it was it was originally a full-time employee, and the revision was to specify a certified employee as
Oh.
part of it.
I think it was here for part of it, not all of it.
Yep.
because we did have to have Brooke review some of the language within here. And you are correct, because the certified and the classified have different hour requirements.
Right. Okay, so we just change the definitions then?
Yes.
Yeah, we need to make sure we get our colors back in there. Because that was it, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think
But it
we,
looks the same.
Yeah, hold on, I'm trying to find it specifically here.
Side by side.
well, we have workday for certified and workday for classified, which we did not.
No,
We
it's in
changed
the-
those titles.
It's in the old one too, is it not?
No. In the old one, it is, or in the current one, it's workday and then length of workday for classified. So in the new one, we've got the workday for certified and the workday for classified, so it's specific.
Just took the link out, because the language is the same.
Probably.
Just the, okay, so it was just the,
We also added that the workday is exclusive of a 30-minute duty-free lunch period and extracurricular assignments, but inclusive of preparation time and assigned duties. So we did sort of shore it up with what is also in the negotiated agreement.
gotcha, okay.
That was part of it as well,
Okay,
because it didn't mirror the
Right.
negotiated agreement.
okay. And obviously Brooke was in on this one, so,
Yes, she was.
yeah.
Correct.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
You were involved in this. Yes, she was. I was saying that, I knew you were there, but I didn't want you to think that I wasn't going to give you a chance to answer. Okay,
Okay, I have no comment. I'm good.
all right. I move to approve the policy 5210 workday.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to policy 7400, miscellaneous procurement standards. There was language that needed to be added to this policy. It's in red. The language was added by our CFO.
I think I looked at
So the only change was the red language.
Yeah, so was there a change in the law, or was there a change in the law, or what precipitated the,
This was a audit technical assistance on a food service audit that we had in 2023. I had made the request for it to get added, and
Oh.
as we were doing another audit, I noted that it hadn't been added, so I brought it to the clerk to get it added. They did come on site today, so I would love to get them the updated policy to show that we're in compliance.
okay, all right.
It's a plus.
So was this language that they gave you, said
Yes.
just put this in?
Yep.
Because the thing I find different about it is it says, has to be filed within 10 days after the protester knows, which is fine, or should have known. I mean, what is that? I mean, what does it mean, should have known? How are they should have known? I mean, are they, is it talking about like they're notified via certified mail, or they are
Typically,
received-
when we complete a bid process and a decision's made, we send out a letter, and they have 10 days from that
From
letter,
the letter.
essentially. So we do provide notification if they win or lose the bid.
Okay.
And all of those timelines are identified in our RFP packets
Yeah.
that we sent out.
Yeah. I just didn't know what the should have
Yeah.
known. I mean, it's like, well, should have known.
And we do
Okay.
typically send them snail mail and via email just
Okay.
to cover our bases.
Okay. And when we do, I mean, I guess we're not doing that certified, just when we're saying, oh, thanks for the bid, but you didn't, I mean, yeah, that would be a lot.
Yeah.
Cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. All right, that was my only question.
No problem.
So it's for audit purposes,
Yes.
okay. All
Okay.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have any more input.
Dave? Jeff? All right. I move to approve policy 7400, miscellaneous procurement standards, as presented. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to discussion items.
Did you, Sarah, I'm sorry, did you get his second?
I
Jeff's
did, yes.
second.
Yep.
Quietly, but it was there. Discussion items, we have the salary schedules, the exempt employee salary schedule, salary matrix, classified schedule, and administrator salary matrix.
I don't have, any, I looked through the data and stuff like that. I don't have any, questions. One thing that it did just, remind me though earlier, and I meant to bring this up, there was a mention in the, where did it go? Interim. There it is. It was in the interim superintendent's report. The Essential 55 by Ron Clark. Is that the houses?
Yeah.
Is that program?
It is the same author.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it is not part of the House program, but it's the same author.
Okay. Yep, looking at that list made me think of that. I meant to bring it up earlier, but how's your feedback with book studies from the teachers? Do they just love them, or?
Well, I think it really varies situation to situation. I think a statement that could be applied to any professional development is how useful is it to me?
Right.
And so I know that we had some book studies go on at Athol Elementary this past year that got rave reviews and sparked really great conversation and some changes in the building and really dynamic stuff. And we've also tried some that did not align well with exactly what people needed at the time. And so we try to be very careful about what we expect out of staff energy and time.
Yep.
For the case of the Essential 55, that's something that I've already discussed with all of the principals.
Yep.
And so they know and even have an opportunity to give some input on that. And it's something that we've seen a couple of buildings really successfully rally teachers around and generate some excitement and really generate positive change in students as well.
Yeah.
So we feel like we have enough evidence to support moving in that direction.
Okay. And I'm always just curious because I know everybody's workday is just so long anymore. Everybody, doesn't matter what position you're in.
Yep.
And I'm always conscious of that and how much we're requiring, you know. I mean, obviously we have to improve ourselves in our position, you know, in our career.
Yeah.
But
it's a delicate balance because I think that we want to really protect people's time and capacity, their energy level, not just the minutes in the day. But we also know that it is energizing to do well and to learn new things. And so it is kind of it's a balance that we consider at different times of the school year based on what the needs are.
Yeah, I noticed that in looking at the data. I thought, oh, well, what are these buildings doing that we could transfer to these other buildings? You know, because it was evident in some that they have this little niche going really well, you know, and, you know, but there again, it's the same thing. What's the student population? What is, you know, what, maybe they have a higher need for this than this or whatever, but yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
I don't have any, I don't think I do anyways. What was the trustee appointed committee? Was that just for the long range and the strategic, or in the discussion items? It didn't have an, oh, it is the AIC, okay. I answered my own question. And the other question I did have was, I like the citizenship idea. There again, I'm always cognizant of the other students who might, you know, struggle a little bit as a learner, or maybe they just have, you know, how are we supporting them and being able also to compete for, you know, a citizenship award or what have you, you know what I'm saying? So that, I mean, I'm not, you know, everybody gets a participation trophy, but I want to make sure that the students who might be, you know, need a little extra help or whatever also have the ability to win, you know?
Absolutely. I think that in the Citizenship Award specifically was an idea from Trustee Thompson. And I think that was born out of the value of having students recognized at the board level. And forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but I believe that where the citizenship came in was actually exactly to your point. This is not always necessarily going to be the star athlete or the straight A student.
Right.
This is going to be based on a predetermined list of what the Board of Trustees feels like is citizenship values that you want to see out of Lakeland students. I do want to note that this would be in addition to pretty great efforts that already exist at every single school level to recognize students, both in growth and in their own character recognition system that they have that's custom to each building. And so I'm fairly confident to say that in every single building there's an opportunity for any student to be recognized in those situations. And it is not necessarily just the students who are the stereotypical award winners.
And you know, I didn't doubt that. I just want to make sure we don't forget those kids too.
Absolutely. That's a great consideration.
I don't have anything else. Is there anything that we should, I mean, with the salary schedule and all this stuff, is it pretty much the same thing where we ended up?
To my knowledge, all the salary schedules are frozen. So there's been no change or adjustment.
Right. So it's basically where we ended the
Are you saying correct or shaking your head? No.
No, they're the same. There's no changes on there. The reason why they're on discussion is that at the previous meeting, you guys said we really need to look at these salary schedules. We need to see some changes. We know this year's not to do it, but you guys want to see the salary schedules.
Okay. Thank you.
I do have a question for the board on the SIP plan update and academic performance data. At the last meeting, we had a discussion about the importance of continuing some academic performance measures set at the board level, even though the requirement for a specific SIP plan is going away. We still want to make sure that we're measuring setting goals and measuring progress. Would it be the board's desire to set up a similar procedure that we did last year for the SIP? I could present a different format that is maybe a little bit simpler and easier to work with, but that would entail a board workshop where we look at all of the previous year's data, set goals together.
Yes.
Is that what the board would like to see for this upcoming?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm glad you brought that up, because the other thing I was thinking and looking at the data is somewhere on there we should notate that the state testing changed. So that
Yes.
was a huge impact.
Yep.
So anybody looking at the data, understands that when they're looking at it, that there was a complete
Yeah,
redo.
a change to the test.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was, nobody was familiar with any, so I just think that needed to be marked, a benchmark sort of thing, so we don't forget, or
Sure.
monument, so we don't forget.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm for that. Are you guys for that, setting the data?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have to have that.
Is the board comfortable with me just bringing it in the format that I find simplest to work with?
Yeah.
Okay. No specific request there.
No, if after we get looking at it, if we're like, oh yeah, we should add this.
Of
or-
course.
Yeah, but
Of course.
I'm fine with that.
The annual financial audit fraud questionnaire is attached.
So the actual
It's not.
questionnaire is a form that requires specific questions to be answered before you can go on to the next question, and I couldn't make that form public
Okay.
for the sake of
Right.
the auditors. So if you guys are comfortable, we can take a couple minutes and I will ask the questions.
This is a questionnaire that's sent to me annually before the audit takes place, and I typically bring it to the board for input. It's pretty basic, and unless anybody has any qualms or problems that they feel the auditors need to focus on, then
I think it's pretty short. I can
yeah,
go
it
through
is.
it.
It's like not very many questions.
The first question, are you aware of actual or suspected fraud affecting the entity Lakeland Joint School District? Are you aware of any allegations of fraud or complaints regarding the organization financial reporting process? For example, received in communications from employees, former employees, analysis regulators, or others?
Not currently.
Are you aware of any significant, unusual transactions entered into by the entity? No. Okay. Are you aware of any transactions entered into with related parties? If so, please describe the nature of the relationship and the purpose of the transactions.
Say that again?
Are you aware of any transactions entered into with related parties? If
Oh,
so,
with related parties,
please
okay.
describe the nature and the purpose.
I am not aware.
Are you aware of any cybersecurity incidents, either from unintentional events or deliberate actions by insiders or third parties affecting the entity?
I would have to say, did I say this in, I would say yes.
Okay. They did not ask for specifics. If they come back, I will contact you. Were there any new laws or regulations enacted that may be expected to have a fundamental effect on the operations of the entity?
Well, yes,
Lack
of
of
course. A few.
Yes.
And part of that would be, Jessica, just the way they changed our funding, But other than that, I don't,
Failed movies.
yeah, the
I
field
mean,
levies, yeah.
Are you aware of any non-compliance with laws and regulations? If so, provide additional details related to the non-compliance.
How far are we going back?
The last year. It's the annual audit.
Can you say the question again?
Mhm.
And this is an audit of the entire entity, not just the finances?
Well, it's from the financial
Financial
auditor.
auditor. But the,
And it's a global question, but
Right.
they're only focused on one thing.
Yeah.
the question is, are you aware of any non-compliance with laws and regulations? If so, provide additional details related to the non-compliance.
No? I don't think so.
Just say no.
How does the governing body oversee the entity's process for identifying and assessing fraud risks and the programs and controls in place to address those risks?
I'm unaware of any such thing.
Don't we do that in policy?
Well, no, but I mean, should I just say the question again?
How does the governing body oversee the entity's process for identifying and assessing fraud risks and the programs and controls in place to address those risks?
I mean, where do we address fraud controls and identifying fraud? I mean, I would think that's something Jessica has in place, you know?
Right.
But the board,
Well, we did kind of resolve some of it when we stopped having this.
yeah,
I mean, so we've kind of, but that was a few years ago.
So, to summarize, the governing body oversees through policy and reports from the financial. What specific accounts, such as cash or revenue, does the organization consider to have a higher risk of fraud? What steps have been taken to address those additional risk accounts?
Unknown as regard to the steps. I would say if anything, it would be cash, would be
well, it
the
could
risk
be
of more
anything.
fraud.
I mean, it could be anything.
Sorry, what was that?
It could be anything.
I mean, in today's day and age, I don't know if one's at more risk than the other, except for maybe cash, but
I don't
Cash is in
think we
place.
do too much
Yeah.
online with the exception of food services. But
I don't know.
That was the last question. Are you guys comfortable with your answers?
Yeah. I'm fine.
Okay, we're done with that part.
all right. Lucky us.
I do have one more question on our discussion items. As we discussed in the June meeting, I have some proposals for how I plan to move forward with the Strategic Planning Committee and the Long Range Facilities Planning Committee.
Mhm.
Is there any board input or suggestion there before I continue to move forward with that plan?
No, if you can just share that with us. They used to be, yeah, they got like split apart, you know, so I don't know, but yeah, if you could just share it with us and whatever
Absolutely.
your input is.
Yeah,
we would
yeah,
do that.
we've had some discussions about what even specifically those meetings, meeting minutes will look like.
Right.
And, you know, the regular intervals that they'll be brought to the board.
Yeah,
And so I think that that will be much cleaner this time around.
yeah, yeah, okay. All right.
So we're still going to, because the strategic plan is unfortunately something that kind of went by the wayside a little while ago, because the Long Range Planning Committee sort of stepped into that role without anyone acknowledging that that's what it's doing.
Yeah, understood.
But we're going to have a strategic planning committee. And sort of the long-range planning committee is a subsidiary of the strategic plan, or are they working hand in hand, or what are we doing?
Like I described in those two reports for you guys,
Yeah.
I see them as two very different purposes. The
Okay.
long-range facilities planning committee is really dedicated to anything facility use, capacity, building quality, safety.
Okay.
And so that is pretty clearly defined there.
Okay.
Strategic Planning Committee does have, I believe, a statutory obligation to maintain a strategic plan for the district.
Yes.
We have one that is current through school year 27-28, I believe, the way that it was written initially. But I believe that we need a group to be put together to really reevaluate if those are still our priorities. And so
Okay.
whenever we talk about directions that we might need to go as a district, things like school choice or like the 4-day school week would have fallen into this category.
Right.
Any major changes like that, I would really like to lean on a standing, predetermined, ongoing board-directed committee like the Strategic Planning Committee to
Right.
make those sorts of decisions and
Yeah.
ultimately recommendations to the board.
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely, that's what the initial intent
Yeah.
was, so that it can actually be working.
Absolutely.
You know.
And without a doubt, each one of those committees will generate some subcommittees,
Right.
You know, and so I don't expect the members of the Long Range Facility Planning Committee to all be in the nitty-gritty details of a rezoning that we suggest.
Right,
But they will
right.
dictate and appoint subcommittee members, and there will be a chain of command process that ultimately makes sure that whatever we're suggesting to the board has some accountability with our community members.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, the trustee appointed committee members, that's on there because, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 meetings ago.
So we had a discussion about making sure that you guys have representation from each of your zones at the big 3 committee meetings, so policy, long-range planning, and strategic. So we did have one trustee who generated a lot of interest and got back to us. I think the thing that I am learning from that process is that we have a lot of people who showed interest, but no one that is like the one designee to attend that meeting on behalf of the zone trustee. And also attendance has not been what we had hoped with those interested parties. So I think one of the things that would be beneficial in this process and also helpful to make sure that you guys have a voice and an ear in these meetings is if you guys could select a singular person that you think would be best at gathering information and contributing from your zone. And then I believe there's a policy that indicates that you would give those designated persons to the board chair, and then that chair would appoint them officially as members of that committee.
I mean, with the understanding that these are all the board's committees anyways.
Right.
So, yeah, there's no,
And it wouldn't, having a representative does not mean that you guys couldn't come as well and wouldn't be a part of it.
right,
It would just mitigate the number of meetings that you guys
right,
have to be present.
right, yeah. Well, and I think it's important that we have community input anyways from every sector, you know. And the other thing I would like to see us stay away from is a person who's a parent / employee / lives in this zone covering all those bases.
Sure.
Like an actual individual representation of each hat, you know, if possible. We know how it is trying to, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the other challenge that I would like to address is that we need continuity and participation
Right.
to make good decisions.
Right.
Right.
And so I understand how it went this way in the past, and I
Yeah.
do not mean to criticize, but whenever every committee meeting is just whoever shows up,
Yep.
and
Right.
whoever shows up has decision-making power,
Right.
we can get off track very quickly.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And so the ultimate goal here is that we have a core group of people that stays consistent, who can track
Yep.
progress and data over time.
Yeah,
I agree,
yeah.
100%.
Lost my train of thought. Mm. So I would think that we would just put a broadcast out there, you know, I mean, we can send stuff, but, you know, even if it's just on the district's website, Facebook, whatever, you know.
We have that, don't we?
Or maybe we need
maybe
Coeur d'Alene
not.
Press to print something, or,
We do have something on the website for participation in
Yeah.
various committees.
right.
This year, based on just kind of how things unfolded, that's really been, I would suggest that we revamp it, because
Okay.
it's been sitting long enough to where it basically only applies to supplemental materials,
Right,
that we would
right.
want to refresh it a little bit. We could absolutely create a Google form that would ask people what role they wish to play. Are you going to wear the parent hat or the
Right, right.
resident hat or community member, what zone they live in, and we could give some guidance there.
Yeah.
Not to necessarily turn anybody away, but it would help us have a conversation
Right.
to identify who are our kind of consistent
core,
core
yeah.
group members.
The other thing is too, what do you think about, thinking of weather and things like that, electronic meetings? Or do you think that would be, you know, that might be something too, to bump up
Yeah.
participation?
Increase participation. I'm very open to that.
Okay.
We've, especially in smaller committees like that, have been very successful in just setting up a virtual room.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
most people can meet in person, but we can have a couple of people on the screen.
Right, right.
That typically works okay. I envision these board-directed committees not, I mean, at first it will be more, because we'll have to
Sure.
keep up, and so it will probably be monthly for just a little while, but ultimately, you know, 3 or 4 times a year, and so hopefully it's not too much of a burden on these individuals to come back
Right.
repeatedly, but we can absolutely have a virtual option.
Yeah. I just think it might increase participation if people think that they can, you know, be
Certainly.
in their home office or their office and join the meeting, you know.
Yep.
Okay. I don't have anything else.
Okay.
So just to make sure that I understand, instead of trustee-appointed committee members in the way that we had previously talked about, we've discussed putting out an application at the district level that invites participation from anybody, and we will use that information to work with the trustees to create our core group for each
Sure.
committee.
Yep.
Sounds
Can
great.
at least be a starting place.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm failing. Didn't we already talk about citizenship awards?
Yes, yep, we're
Okay.
done.
All right,
Except
so
for-
we're done with discussion items. We're on
Yeah.
dates to remember. We've got Rathdrum Days for the 17th and 18th. Policy Committee the 20th and 27th. For August, we have Policy Committee on the 3rd, the 10th, the 17th. We have a board meeting on August 5th, and that is a special board meeting. And then we have the August 19th regular board meeting. We do need to schedule a SIP workshop. And do we need to schedule the dates for these committees or not yet?
Well, I have proposed initial dates. I do want the board to be aware of them because it is your committee meeting, but I would suggest for the Strategic Planning Committee either August 12th or 26th. Both of those are Wednesday evenings.
What time would this committee meeting start?
6 o'clock. If we are going to go through the process of starting with a district level kind of application, I would prefer the 26th because that would give us a little bit more time to
Okay,
go through that process.
I would be late.
on the 26th.
Yeah.
And that meeting is, you need the board there, or you're just having?
Nope, I just want to
Okay.
make sure that it's on the board's calendar
Oh,
because
okay.
it is a board-directed
Okay.
committee.
All right, yeah, 26, I mean, if that works for you, fine.
Perfect,
Yeah.
okay. And then for the Long Range Facilities Planning Committee, I would suggest Wednesday, September 9th. Same time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We do a date for the SIP workshop.
Yeah. Are we still doing parent advocacy meetings, or are those still ongoing, or no?
We have not done a parent advocacy group in at least a year.
Okay, is it still on my calendar? It's on my calendar, so I didn't know. Okay.
Sure. I do want to clarify too, since you mentioned that, Trustee Grissom, we've been talking about core group of participants for these committees.
Yeah.
I want to make it very clear that it is still open to the public. It is
Right,
still
right.
open for anybody to attend, like a workshop. We just want to depend on a core group to help guide decisions.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the SIP workshop, when do you think you could have the information that you want to present?
I would recommend,
October.
uh,
So we usually do it.
It's in October.
how about September 23rd?
Okay, what time? Oh, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Would you please make note to let Randy know since she's on here?
6 p.m.
Yeah. Just so she gets it on her calendar.
We should be back at the district by then, huh?
Yeah. That would be
Yep, absolutely.
awful.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I would like to note is that if we do have a board meeting on August 5th, I will have to join remotely because I'll be in Boise.
Oh,
Okay.
Which leaves the question, do we need to have an August 5th meeting? I know that there was something that ended up on the agenda planning item, but I don't know, does it need to be August 5th or can it wait till the 19th?
We believe that we could wait until the 19th.
There were a few things that were motioned to come back on the 5th.
The
but
other thing
those
was the
could-
curriculum director
Okay.
position.
So yeah, if you don't mind waiting till the 19th,
Yeah.
that's fine.
It's up to Jake. That works for him. Okay.
So I'll cancel the 5th. Okay, so take it off your calendar, Kathleen.
I had
All right.
in my car. I can run it.
Is there any?
So-
What do you need?
I didn't
Oh, I've got some. Oh, wait, no, it's in my purse. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can go get you something.
Is there any input for future agenda items?
No.
Did I ask you to remember anything for me?
Not at this time.
No, I'm beyond capacity. All right, so at this time, I do need a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 742061B.
So moved?
Second.
We need a roll call vote.
Trustee Broadhead? Trustee Thompson?
Yes.
Trustee Grissom?
Yes.
Trustee Quimby?
Yes.
On that note, we will adjourn. It is 8:45. We'll take a 10-minute recess before we go into executive session.
Okay. I'll get you something.
Okay.
Am I right? All right, let me go get you some now. Do you take
Are you talking about like a couple months ago or a month?
No, like literally like your voicemail was full a minute earlier when I left.
Okay.
Okay, we've come out of executive session. It is 10:34 p.m. There is one action item.
I would move that we release personnel A and B from their contracts as recommended by HR.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. There are no further action items at this time. On that note, we will adjourn. It is 10:34.